I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're delving into a wonderful book. It is called 100 Scribblings by Marc Pierre Bonis. It is a captivating collection of thoughts, comments, and poems spanning a half a century. This literary mosaic offers a unique window into the evolving perspectives of a man whose journey from the petroleum fields of the Gulf of Mexico to the academic halls of the University of New Orleans has been as diverse as it has been profound. Through these scribblings, the author invites us into the constancy of change, reflecting on global events, personal milestones, and the unaltered themes of life. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his wonderful book. The links are below the interview. Marc, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Well, thank you so much for the nice introduction, Logan. I really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you and your time joining us here today on our show. This is quite a collection, a half century in the making. Tell us a little bit about these scribblings, as you call them, that you've collected over the years.
Yeah, it really is kind of interesting in the sense that a few years ago, I was reading an article about regrets of people that were getting ready to die. And one of the regrets that they had was that they never shared their feelings with people, their feelings about life and things that they went through, the trials that they went through in life. And it really intrigued me in the sense that when I was brought up, and I was brought up under the motto of actions speak louder than words, that basically if you were a male, you didn't show your feelings, you didn't show your emotions. It was considered weak. It was considered effeminate. And if you felt strongly about something, you go out and do something about it. Take actions, but not necessarily complain or show those emotions at all. And that really kind of intrigued me because that's how I was brought up. But on second hand, throughout my entire life, even though I don't journal daily, I would occasionally, at times, have a strong feeling to sit down and write a poem or write an observation about something that went on in my life. And I did that. And I would take out a pad and scribble either a poem or an observation. And after I finished doing it, I felt pretty good. Then I'd take the paper and I put it into a desk drawer. And I did that for a good 50 or 60 years. And I always felt good after I finished doing it. And the interesting thing about it is that even today, if somebody asks me to describe my feelings or emotions, I feel uncomfortable about it. But I had no problems at all describing it in words,
Right.
And right about that same time, simultaneously, we were just finishing up with COVID. And I was reading about the high incidence rate of mental health problems, and primarily because of isolation and not verbalizing feelings and problems that they have. So a combination of all those things kind of made me think about it and say, I think I really would like to put these thoughts together and let people, that my family and friends and other people, know how I felt about life. And so I did. I took out these scribblings and pulled out 100 of them and put them together in a book. And that's basically how it came out to be. And that's basically and after looking at that, I came to the conclusion that, your perspectives over time change, but generally your life theme generally stays the same throughout your life.
Yeah, the circumstances change, the settings change, the people might change, but you are always the same. My mother used to say she would look around the people and she thought everybody around her was getting older, but she wasn't, It's
Right.
kind of the same experience.
Right.
This must have been quite a trip down memory lane for you to go through all of these quote unquote scribblings over the years and
Right.
reliving
It was
those
really
memories. That must have been
interesting. I
kind of
really
fun, right?
enjoyed it. I actually, they were in my desk drawer. I had, occasionally I would look through them, but never any length of time. But when I decided to do it, I actually sat down and I had a lot more than 100, and I just
Mhm.
pulled out 100 and we're reading them and pulled out the ones that I thought that affected me most and put them together and came out to the conclusion that my life theme was that life is fantastic, but it's tough, that you have to forge on, that you shouldn't be afraid of failing because that's how you learn, and that really life begins outside of that comfort zone.
Yeah,
And if you do those things right there, then you can actually teach old dogs new tricks. And that's the way
exactly.
I look at it now. And
Very true. I like to say I'm most comfortable outside of my comfort zone. Challenging myself is what I
right.
enjoy. Was there something or a couple of memories or scribblings that you came across? You're like, wow, I forgot about this, or that was a crazy day, or was there one that really struck you?
There were a number of them. I forgot. I mean, when you live as long as I have, you forget about those things. And occasionally, as you look through them, it strikes you and you remember, oh, what was I going through at the time? Because I never, ever in any of these writings do I specifically say anything, but it was a specific thing. But I remember those times that I went through, and it just, uh, it was very nice to go through them. I really enjoyed taking the time to read through them and pull out the ones that I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. So in a way, this feels kind of like your memoir.
Yeah, it really, it's basically a reflection of my life, uh, and what I've, has transpired and had a lot, just like everybody else, we have our ups and downs throughout
Mm.
life, and you just have to make do and continue on,
Yeah.
and that's really what I try to reflect in the book, and really what I try to reflect to the people that I deal with every day.
Yeah. Now you're picking out 100 of these scribblings. When it comes to putting them in order, which one do you put first and why?
Uh, that's a really good question. That most of them were dated, but I never had the intentions when I wrote it to actually publish them. So
Mhm.
a few of them were not. Uh, it just as I was going through the papers, the ones that struck me, I put over on the side, and then they're not necessarily in chronological order. It's just the ones that I guess impacted me most. I put first.
Hmm.
Uh, but then as I look, when you deal with 100 of them,
Yeah.
you you realize that I liked all of them. But
Yeah.
it was really random in how I selected it. I didn't want to put them in a chronological order, uh, and it's just as I read them, it was like I like this idea,
Yeah.
and but that there was no real specific order in which I put it down. It's just the ones that I liked,
Yeah.
you know.
Now that you've compiled these scribblings and they're published, are you scribbling more now? Do you think about it a little bit more when you write on that piece of paper?
Actually, since I've done that, I've done a little bit more scribbling than I did at one time. The interesting thing about it is that the few people that have read my books, my close friends or whatever, they said, I really never thought you thought about. I never knew that you thought like that or had those feelings in regards to that, which was kind of interesting to me that you have these things personally, but you a lot of times you think that everybody knows exactly how you feel, but they don't.
Hmm.
And that's what I thought was rather interesting, since it came out.
Exactly. You probably learned some things about yourself that you didn't realize. Others are learning things about you. So it's been
Right,
quite an experience, quite a journey, I'd imagine, getting this book published.
right. And as far as changing perspectives, I have actually, since I published it, have actually tried, even though I do feel rather uncomfortable, to verbalize my feelings about things a lot more than what I used to.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. Well, the name of the book that Marc Pierre Bonis has written is called 100 Scribblings. It is a collection of thoughts, comments, poems that span a half a century. He just jotted down different thoughts, different poems, different ideas, different feelings over the decades. And now he has compiled them into a book you could call a literary mosaic, and it offers a unique window into the evolving perspectives of a man who has had quite an incredible journey in his life. Marc, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Well, thank you, Logan. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed speaking to you and
I
to
enjoyed
everyone else.
speaking with you as well, my friend. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.
Thank you.